Hello, I'm Bliznub, and welcome to Building the Best. Today we're going to be looking at the Braton Prime. Now, a quick confession to make off the bat, I have been putting off the Braton Prime, this gorgeous weapon here, for a long time, because I don't know what that was, because it is a couple of other YouTubers' favourite weapons. And I appreciate it has been covered a lot, and probably in greater detail than I'm going to, but I feel like I found a nice build, and I really wanted to put out a video today on the Braton Prime. I do enjoy this weapon quite a lot. Now, what we've gone for here, because this weapon is basically a slash damage machine gun, it doesn't have too much else for it, but its rate of fire, status chance, and mag size are quite good. The crit chance isn't worth building off, its accuracy is relatively low, so we do have to build for fire rate rather than individual shot damage. But the status chance is definitely worth building off, and it is very much worth noting that unlike the burst on, this weapon has a majority of its damage in slash, which is quite good. So I've gone for this build, basically. I was tempted to go for a pure damage build with all 4 elements, Fang Fusillade, and all 4 damage mods. All 3 damage mods. But it just didn't seem right, and it would have ended up being an 8-former build, and it definitely didn't seem right because the status chance on this weapon is very much worth building off, but when I went full status on it, it just wasn't hitting hard enough. And so I went for this. It's a middle ground between. We're ending up with 66% status chance with 2 60-60 mods, which doesn't seem like too much, but when you consider that we're getting almost 10 rounds a second, it is quite a lot of damage we're pumping out. Sorry, quite a lot of status chance we're getting per second. Pretty much guaranteed status procs on any target we hit more than twice. Well, sorry, I say more than twice. Any target we hit twice. So, anyhow. So we start off with Serration, Heavy Cal, and Split Chamber for damage. Then we do have 2 elements over here and 2 60-60 mods and Fang Fusillade, so it's pretty much a pure damage build, but I would like to say off the bat that you can, of course, pick any element of your choice, as always, but you can replace Fang Fusillade on this build with something like Speed Trigger or Shred, and what you will end up getting is, as you halve your slash damage, give or take, you will get a lot more radiation and viral procs, or whatever element you have, because in this setup, you're actually going to be seeing a lot more slash procs than anything else, which works for me because I like a slash procs ability to bypass armor and shields, but for some people, obviously not preferable. Personally, I'm probably going to drop the Stormbringer off this build to run Shred on it, but I felt like showing you this rather base variant, pure damage, medium attack speed, fire rate, just very middle grounds build, but definitely things like Shred Serration and even Vial Acceleration could see a useful place on this build. But anyhow, that's enough about mods. Let's go and try this thing out. Now, it isn't quite a top level weapon, so I didn't want to take it up against sortie level enemies. Today's sortie was against Infested anyway, so I thought, why not level 60 Grineer? You know, mid-level sortie. It definitely could deal with level 80 Grineer. I did try it out against them, but it was a little slow at dealing with them. So here we have some Bombards and Heavy Gunners, and as we can see, I'm getting slash procs, and when we do get that viral proc, we, wow, tear through these enemies quite quickly. Of course, the radiation proc, meaning the enemies are going to attack each other, doesn't make it visually that appealing, but it is very useful. And I suppose if you went with Corrosive Blast, it would tear through these Heavy Gunners much quicker than it is now. But you can see it's going to deal with fodder level enemies at level 60 in 2 to 3 shots very quickly. Short bursts against the fodder level enemies, although these guys are running around quite a lot. But things like Eviscerators and Bombards with the alloy armor might take a little bit longer, and Heavy Gunners longer still because I'm running Radiation Viral. But as you can see, it tears through them very quickly with the radiation and the viral procs. Of course, meaning that their health is going to take a severe beating, the viral proc halving their health, and then the radiation proc meaning that their delightful friends are going to be shooting at them, which I always find entertaining. I don't know about you, but when I make the Grineer shoot at each other, I feel like that's definitely a good thing to do. And yeah, those slash procs, whilst they may be small, are definitely going to do work against any enemy with a viral proc on them. So whilst it may seem like I'm tearing through these enemies relatively slowly, I would happily say that this weapon is dealing fantastic amounts of damage. Now, the only thing I will say before I'm done here is that the Braton Prime, curiously, has a ammo capacity of 375 plus what's in the magazine, which is actually very low. And especially for a weapon that can achieve very, very fast fire rates. I've managed to get 20 rounds per second out of this weapon without too much difficulty. And so you are going to want to keep an eye on your ammo cap. Obviously, with this pure damage version, it's fairly slow firing, should be fine. But anyhow, that's pretty much all I have to say. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this build, and I hope this is useful for some of you. I appreciate the Braton Prime is a less used weapon nowadays, and I hope some of you could take another look at it and think, you know, maybe this thing could still have a little bit of use. Bear in mind, though, this was a 5-former build, so a bit pricey. Anyhow, thank you for watching. As always, please like and comment below, and subscribe if you want to see more. I'm Bliznub, and this is the Braton Prime.